everyone, and welcome back to another exciting webinar on sensor technologies at CO2Meter. Today we are discussing one of our most renowned sensor partners, Gas Sensing Solutions, otherwise known as GSS, and diving into why customers stand by their technologies across applications worldwide. Before we begin, we want to showcase some main topic points of our presentation today, which will encompass a bit of background on Gas Sensing Solutions, understanding the sensor technologies behind non-dispersive infrared NDIR sensors, and getting a real glimpse on the core competitive advantages of GSS sensors in the space. In addition, we want to focus in on some of the most popular applications for utilizing GSS CO2 sensors, such as indoor air quality, for example. We will also break down the most inquired upon GSS sensors, look at real customer case studies that use these best-in-class technologies, and furthermore, how you can ensure you're selecting the right sensor and where to find them. First things first, let's discuss a bit of background about Gas Sensing Solutions and what makes them truly unique in our industry. The team at CO2Meter has been working together with GSS for well over a decade, and for good reason. GSS happens to be headquartered in the United Kingdom, and they've been manufacturing mid-infrared LEDs that are best in class under the Explorir, CO2Meter, and SprintiR brands that are well-recognized and patented NDIR solutions. Their sensor technologies hold true value due to their reliability, low power consumption, speed, and reputation. Our customers at CO2Meter stand by these solutions and are able to further achieve best results across industries worldwide. Regardless of your application, if you are looking to measure up to 100% CO2 in an indoor space, a GSS solution can leverage and achieve even greater results. So what makes GSS sensor solutions so unique? Let's start by understanding a bit about the background of the sensor technology, known across the industry as NDIR, or non-dispersive infrared. When we look at NDIR technologies, it's important to note that it is the most common method of measuring CO2 for indoor air analysis. The NDIR sensor technology consists of an infrared lamp, gas sample chamber, wavelength filter, and IR detector. What is even more interesting is how this technology is able to measure and calculate the CO2, which is gained by calculating the difference between the amount of light radiated by the IR lamp and the amount of IR light received by the detector. When we look at the actual image here, you can see that it shows the IR detector or light source, which reads the CO2 gas molecules as they absorb the specific band of IR light, while letting other wavelengths of light pass through. At the detector end, the remaining light hits an optical filter that absorbs every wavelength of light except the wavelength absorbed by the CO2 molecules in the air sample tube. Today's newest generation of NDIR sensors have even more optimized waveguides, which allows a longer optical path to be folded into even smaller footprints. Fascinating, right? So now that you've gotten a glimpse about how CO2 levels are calculated and the technology behind NDIR, what else really sets GSS sensor technologies apart from the rest in this space? Let's take a look at some core sensor advantages. For starters, GSS focuses on many key components which solidify their stance in the industry and further create credibility among customers and industry leaders. Here you will find just a few of the sensor advantages. Ultra-low power is one. You guessed it, their sensors are much lower in power, which enable the technologies to run on battery power alone for many years. Additionally, these sensors provide high speed. They are faster and more responsive. Also, they are reliable, and their patents provide trust, giving the user ability to analyze CO2 across multiple applications and environments. And finally, GSS uses state-of-the-art MBE facilities, which are in-house, which hold unique to GSS and used for all sensors prior to being shipped to the customer. Now sure, that's a lot of great gas sensor advantages that we just covered. Low power, speed, superior performance. You can see why customers would stand by these solutions. However, you might be curious to see what applications or industries really utilize these sensors in the field. Let's dive into some main CO2 applications and examples. For starters, one main application that uses GSS sensor technologies is that of indoor air quality, and these indoor environments include areas such as homes, office buildings, classrooms, gymnasiums, and many others. Now, not only do GSS technologies like the CO2Meter LP2 CO2 sensor above fit into this application, but they assist in providing low power. They can be used in demand control ventilation because the sensor can be powered from a small battery, solar panel, or other energy harvesting device. Additionally, the GSS Blink CO2 sensor also is a tried and true favorite for this application, and it can be used for power cycling and provide even lower power consumption. Aside from indoor air quality environments, many customers stand by GSS CO2 sensor technologies for their use across healthcare and medical applications. Specifically, many CO2 meter customers rely heavily on the SprintiR due to its accuracy and high-speed sampling at up to 50 Hz. Having a sensor technology that provides such incredibly accurate and fast, consistent readings is really critical in this application, more specifically in MRI research, neuroscience, capnography, and many other environments. Aside from healthcare, another critical application that uses GSS CO2 sensors is those that are in industrial processes and safety applications. Now, many customers often lead towards GSS sensors as they can easily be incorporated into aggressive or robust environments found commonly in industrial industries. When dealing with such extreme environments, it's important to note that a sensor can deal with these specific harsh conditions, such as the Explorir W, for example. This sensor does just that, and it can be easily integrated into high vibration or high humidity environments. Next brings us to one of the most intriguing applications, that of life sciences or incubation. Now, CO2 sensors are often prevalent in this industry, and GSS sensors are often recommended, such as the SprintiR 6S 20% CO2 sensor. This is due to its ability to record hyper-accurate data at 20 times per second. For those individuals looking for an incredibly accurate and swift response, GSS sensors are common in this industry, and they're often used to manage gas levels in areas of incubation, laboratory, and scientific research. Now that we've covered a variety of applications that tend to utilize these GSS sensor solutions in order to best perform in their respective environments, let's take a deeper dive at some of these core technologies provided by GSS and gain a little bit of a deeper look at the actual sensors themselves. When we look at GSS sensor technologies, we first look at the COZIR collection. Now, these sensors specifically are known for their low power, their ability to monitor in typical applications where the user might want to take a reading, let's say every 300 seconds, and the power requirement is 10 microwatts per reading. Additionally, this sensor is solid state and incredibly small in size, which makes it easily integrated throughout a variety of industries. They are also vibration and shock resistant. Next, we look at another customer favorite at CO2Meter, which is the GSS SprintiR collection. Now, these sensors are often utilized due to their high speed. This sensor can take up to 50 readings per second, which gives the ability to measure up to 100% CO2. And you can also tell that they have a unique flow-through adapter. This gives the end user even higher speed gas exchange, which is ideal for scientific applications and furthering analysis. And finally, we look at the GSS Explorir collection. Now, this is one of their most popular sensor technologies. The Explorir is heavily used by CO2Meter customers, and it provides reliable means to measure wide-range CO2 levels. The sensor can measure up to 100% CO2 in industries such as scientific or industrial environments. Now, in addition, this high-performance sensor is known for its design and suitability for battery operation or portable sampling instruments. They also provide optional temperature and humidity sensing, as well as an optional analog output. Now that we've been able to showcase a few of the actual GSS sensor technologies that customers utilize at CO2Meter, we wanted to show some real case studies that demonstrate just how the GSS technologies are used throughout specific environments. For our first customer case study, we wanted to showcase research created by the International Conference, where they used the GSS COZIR ambient sensor to show the quality of air within a vehicle and how it can influence an overall driver's occupant comfort. And using this specific GSS sensor, they were able to conclude specific CO2 levels directly attributed to unpleasant driving experiences, creating fatigue and lack of focus. It only took about 45 minutes to reach 1,400 ppm CO2, which also showed just how quickly CO2 levels can rise in a tight enclosed space. For another exciting customer case study, we highlight the Explorir M, which was used by a customer in order to monitor CO2 levels during food transportation from a factory to a retail outlet. Now, the customer needed to ensure that the product would remain at optimal freshness throughout its journey, and by measuring high levels of CO2 with the Explorir M, the company was able to further optimize their production line and reduce the spread of foodborne illnesses as well. For our last customer case study, we could not help but showcase a beverage and brewing company that has been a longtime customer of CO2Meter when it comes to incorporating the SprintiR CO2 sensor. Now, CO2Meter recently announced the launch of the CO2 leak detector, otherwise known as the SAN13, which currently houses the SprintiR 6S. We chose this sensor to be integrated due to its incredibly high accuracy and fast response and measurement detection. Critical, as you would think, when detecting CO2 leaks for safety. Now, since many brewing and beverage industries stand by this device, they find the SAN13 in its ability to quickly and rapidly find CO2 leaks, in one word, life-saving. At CO2Meter.com, we provide a wide variety of GSS sensors right on our GSS sensor collection page, which can be found by clicking the URL above. Additionally, our experienced and driven sensor experts would be more than happy to discuss further technical or applicational insight with you, and we can be reached either by email at sales@CO2Meter.com or phone at 386-872-7673. And hey, if you're looking to continually be updated on the latest in sensor technologies and solutions, don't miss out and be sure to follow us across our social media channels for the latest and greatest in the sensor space. We also offer a bi-monthly newsletter, and you can sign up right here from the URL above or from our website to be sure that you're in the know on all of our product releases, sensor technologies, and updates. We truly appreciate you for tuning in for our presentation on GSS sensor technologies and hope that you found this presentation to be both informative and helpful. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us directly if we can be of any further assistance. Until next time, happy sensing!